Sorry, Santa. We will make you better.
The house had just gone quiet. The Christmas lights blinked softly. The letters to Santa rested by the window, waiting. Outside, the snow kept falling, gentle and calm, like nothing bad could ever happen on a night like this. Then, thud. The sound came from behind the house. The triplets froze at the same time. Noah lifted his head. Did you hear that? Luna sat up straight. Yeah, and it didn't sound like snow. Another sound followed, lower this time, like someone groaning. Maya's voice shook. What if it's an animal? Noah reached for the flashlight on the shelf. Or a thief. Luna grabbed her coat. If it's a thief, he picked the wrong house. Maya quickly pulled on her sweater, hugging herself as they moved toward the back door. Their mother was in the bathroom, humming softly, unaware of what was happening. Noah clicked the flashlight on. The beam cut through the dark backyard, bouncing across the snow. Their boots crunched as they stepped outside, the cold biting their faces. Okay, Noah whispered. Rule number 1, stay together. Luna smirked. Since when do we have rules? They moved slowly, the light shaking in Noah's hand. The beam passed the fence, the old trash bins, the tree, and then stopped. Something red lay in the snow. Maya gasped. What is that? Noah took one step closer. That's not trash. Luna squinted. That's a suit. The flashlight lowered slightly, and they saw it clearly. A man dressed as Santa Claus was lying on the ground. His red suit was torn at the side. His white beard was messy. Dark blood stained the snow beneath him. Noah's eyes widened. Santa. He tilted his head. You're early, and leaking. Luna stared, confused. Is this part of Christmas? Because I don't like this part. Maya screamed and dropped to her knees. Santa's hurt. The man groaned softly and moved his hand. He's alive, Noah whispered. Luna snapped into action. We can't leave him out here. Mom will freak out. They each grabbed an arm, the Santa suit heavy and awkward. Why is Santa so heavy? Noah grunted. Because he eats cookies, Luna said, pulling harder. Maya sniffed, trying not to cry. Careful. You're hurting him. They dragged him across the snow, leaving a thin red line behind. The back door creaked open, and warm air rushed out to meet them. Okay, Luna said, breathing hard. New rule. Nobody tells Mom yet. They pulled Santa inside, laying him carefully on the rug beside the Christmas tree. The lights blinked above him, glowing softly, as if the tree itself was watching. Santa groaned again. Maya wiped her tears. We have to help him. Noah nodded, staring at the man in disbelief. I can't believe this. We asked Santa to come, and he actually did. Outside, the snow kept falling. Inside, beneath the Christmas tree, a bleeding Santa Claus lay unconscious, while the triplets had no idea that their Christmas miracle had just begun. If this story touched your heart, made you smile, or brought tears to your eyes, don't forget to like this video. It truly helps us reach more people. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next emotional, funny, and heartwarming stories. New stories are coming, and you'll want to be part of them. And most importantly, leave a comment below Speech Balloon. Tell us what part of the story moved you the most. After dinner, their mother placed 3 sheets of paper on the small coffee table and set a cup filled with pencils beside them. The Christmas tree lights blinked softly, casting warm colors across the room. All right, she said, trying to sound cheerful. Time to write letters to Santa. Noah grabbed a pencil immediately. I already know what I'm asking for. Luna crossed her arms. If Santa is real, he better be ready. I've waited all year. Maya sat quietly, smoothing her paper carefully, like it was something important that could tear if she wasn't gentle. Their mother smiled and moved to the kitchen, giving them space. Luna leaned over the table and began writing quickly, pressing the pencil hard. Dear Santa, she read out loud, I want a bike. Not a baby one. A real bike. With gears. Noah laughed. Add rockets too. Luna shot him a look. This is serious. She paused, tapped her pencil, then added, and maybe a helmet, because Mom worries too much. Maya smiled at that. Noah scribbled on his paper, then read his letter aloud in a dramatic voice. Dear Santa, I hope you're not tired. I know it's a long night. Please bring us gifts, and also bring Dad even if he's late. Luna stopped writing and looked at him. That's not how Santa works. Noah shrugged. Why not? Late is still better than never. Maya hadn't written anything yet. She held her pencil tightly, staring at the blank page. You okay? Luna asked, softer now. Maya nodded slowly. I just want to say it right. She began to write carefully, her letters small and neat. When she finished, she read it quietly, almost whispering. Dear Santa, please bring our dad back home. That's all I want. The room went still. Noah swallowed. That's a big wish. Maya looked up, her eyes shining. Christmas is for big wishes. Luna reached over and ruffled her hair. Yeah, and if Santa messes this up, I'll talk to him. They folded their letters and placed them in a small red envelope. Their mother returned and kissed each of them on the head. Santa will do his best, she said softly. They placed the letters by the window, right where the moonlight could find them. Outside, snow continued to fall, and inside, 3 wishes waited quietly in the night. 2 years ago, on Christmas Eve, their father walked out of the house and never came back. No one said it like that anymore. They used softer words, missing, away, still traveling. But the truth sat quietly in every corner of the house, especially during Christmas. The clock on the wall still ticked the same way it did that night. The front door still made the same small creaking sound. Yet their father had vanished, as if the snow had swallowed him whole. Their mother stood in the kitchen now, trying very hard to act normal. She wore a bright red sweater and tied her hair back the way she always did when she wanted to look strong. Christmas music played softly from an old radio, but she kept turning the volume up and down, as if she couldn't decide whether she wanted to hear it or not. Dinner will be ready soon, she called out, forcing cheer into her voice. Wash your hands. Noah came in first, sliding into his chair. He looked around the table and frowned. Mom, why is Dad's chair still here? His mother paused with a spoon in her hand. For a moment, she didn't answer. We keep it, she said gently, because it's part of our family. Luna leaned back in her chair. It's been 2 years, she said, trying to sound tough. Chairs don't get lonely. Maya kicked Luna under the table. Luna. What? Luna muttered. I just mean. Their mother placed the food on the table and smiled, though her eyes looked tired. It's okay, she said softly. We can talk about it. They began eating, the clinking of spoons filling the quiet space. Snow tapped lightly against the window. The chair at the head of the table stayed empty, pushed in neatly, waiting. Noah broke the silence. Mom. Yes, sweetheart. He tilted his head, thinking carefully. If Santa can find us every year, why can't Dad? The spoon slipped slightly from their mother's hand. It made a soft sound as it hit the table. For one long second, she froze. The radio played a cheerful Christmas song that suddenly felt too loud. Luna stopped chewing. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Then their mother took a slow breath and smiled. Santa has magic, she said quietly. And your father, she paused. Your father has love. Sometimes love takes longer to find its way back. Noah nodded, not fully convinced. Santa should help him. Maya reached across the table and held her mother's hand. I miss him, she whispered. I know, their mother replied, squeezing her fingers. I miss him too. Every day. Luna looked at the empty chair again, her voice lower now. Do you think he misses us? Their mother's smile wavered, but she kept it there. More than you can imagine. They finished dinner slowly. No one rushed to stand up. The empty chair stayed where it was, silent and patient, holding a place for someone who was gone, but not forgotten. It was Christmas Eve, and the house was quiet, too quiet. Then suddenly, thud. The triplets froze. Did you hear that? Noah whispered. Another sound came from behind the house, a low groan. Grabbing a shaky flashlight, the 3 of them crept outside, their breath turning to smoke in the cold night air. The beam of light swept across the snow, past the fence, past the old tree, and then stopped. There, lying motionless in the snow, was Santa Claus. His red suit was torn, his white beard stained dark, blood slowly soaking into the snow beneath him. Maya screamed. Luna dropped the flashlight. Noah whispered in disbelief, "Is this part of Christmas?" And as Santa slowly opened his eyes, none of them knew that the man bleeding in front of them was about to change their lives forever. Snow fell softly from the dark sky, slow and gentle, like tiny white feathers drifting down on the modest neighborhood. The houses stood close together, their roofs lightly covered in snow, windows glowing warmly against the cold night. Strings of blinking Christmas lights hung unevenly from porches, some flickering, some shining bright, making the whole street feel calm and hopeful. It was not a rich neighborhood, but it was alive with quiet joy, the kind that comes from people doing their best. Inside one small house at the corner, warmth wrapped around everything. The heater hummed softly. The smell of hot cocoa and toasted bread filled the air. In the living room stood a short Christmas tree, slightly crooked, leaning a little to the left, but proudly decorated. 3 children moved around it, laughing and arguing at the same time. "Why is the tree bent like that?" Luna said, hands on her hips. She was the bold one, with sharp eyes and a voice that always sounded like she was ready to fight the world. "This tree is tired. It needs rest." "It's not tired," Noah replied quickly, holding a string of blinking lights. "It's artistic, like modern art." Maya giggled softly, kneeling beside a box of ornaments. "Please don't argue. It's Christmas." Luna rolled her eyes but smiled. "I'm not arguing. I'm stating facts." They began hanging ornaments, old ones, new ones, broken ones held together with tape. A red ball with a crack down the side. A small wooden star missing one point. A paper snowflake Maya had made at school, folded carefully but uneven. Noah reached high to place a golden bell near the top. "This one should go here. It looks important." Luna snorted. "Nothing on this tree is important. Look at it. That ornament is older than Mom." "Luna." Maya gasped. "That's rude." Luna shrugged. "It's true. And Mom loves it." Maya carefully placed a tiny angel on a low branch. Her hands moved slowly, like the angel might break if she touched it too hard. "Dad liked this one," she said quietly. The room fell silent for a moment. Noah stopped moving. Luna's smile faded just a little. "Yeah," Noah said softly. "He said angels should always be close to the ground, so they can hear kids better." Maya nodded, her eyes shining. "He used to say that." Luna cleared her throat and forced a grin. "Well, if angels can hear kids better, then they've probably heard how hungry I am." That made Noah laugh. "You're always hungry." "Because I'm growing," Luna replied, "into someone rich." Maya smiled, but her eyes drifted back to the tree. "Do you think Dad knows we still use his ornaments?" Noah shrugged. "Wherever he is, I think he knows." Luna reached out and adjusted the crooked star at the top of the tree. "Yeah, and if he doesn't, we'll remind him when he comes back." Maya looked up quickly. "You think he'll come back?" Luna paused, then nodded firmly. "He has to. Nobody disappears forever. That's not how Christmas works." The lights blinked softly, reflecting in their faces. Outside, the snow continued to fall, quiet and steady, while inside the small house, 3 children stood close together, decorating a tree that looked nothing like the perfect ones in the movies, but to them, it was everything. They gathered around Santa as if he were the most fragile thing in the world. The Christmas tree lights blinked above him, red and green reflections dancing across his pale face. His chest rose and fell slowly, and every now and then he let out a low groan that made Maya flinch. "We need to fix him," Maya said, wiping her tears with her sleeve. Noah nodded quickly. "I'll get the doctor stuff." He ran to their room and returned with a bright plastic toy doctor kit. The case snapped open loudly, spilling out a toy stethoscope, a fake thermometer, and tiny plastic tools that looked nothing like real medicine. Luna came back from the bathroom holding a handful of cartoon band-aids. "These are all we have," she said. "They're superhero ones, and unicorns." Santa stirred slightly. Noah leaned closer. "Santa, can you hear us?" Santa groaned and cracked one eye open. "Ho, ho," his voice was weak. He looked down at the band-aids Luna was holding and sighed. "Please, not the pink band-aid." Luna blinked. "Wow, even bleeding, Santa has preferences." Maya almost laughed through her tears. "The pink one is cute." "No," Santa whispered quickly. "Anything but that." Noah placed the toy stethoscope on Santa's chest and listened very seriously. "Okay," he said, nodding like a real doctor. "His heart is still there." Luna rolled her eyes. "Good observation, Doctor." They gently lifted Santa's torn suit and placed a large superhero band-aid over the wound. It didn't really stop the bleeding, but it made Maya feel better. "I'll make hot chocolate," Maya said suddenly. "Mom always makes it when we are sick." She ran to the kitchen and returned with a warm mug, steam rising into the air. She held it carefully to Santa's lips. "Drink," she said softly. "It helps." Santa took a small sip and sighed. "That's good." As he drank, his eyes stayed on the three children. He watched them closely, like he was trying to memorize their faces. His gaze moved from Luna's sharp eyes to Noah's curious smile, then to Maya's worried expression. Something changed in his face. His eyes softened. Luna noticed. "Why are you staring at us like that?" Santa swallowed hard. "You look familiar." Noah laughed nervously. "We get that a lot." Santa's voice dropped to a whisper, almost without him meaning to. "Luna." "Maya." "Noah." The room went silent. Maya froze, her hand still holding the mug. How do you know our names?" Santa's eyes widened. Panic flashed across his face. He tried to sit up, then winced in pain. I didn't mean," he stammered. "I must have guessed." Luna narrowed her eyes. "That's a pretty good guess." Santa turned his face away, breathing hard. "Please," he said quietly. "I'm just tired." The triplets exchanged confused looks. Outside, the snow continued to fall. Inside, beneath the blinking lights, Santa lay surrounded by cartoon band-aids, toy tools, and three children who had no idea why his hands were shaking or why he had said their names. The room was quiet for only a few minutes before a strange sound came from outside. Soft but deliberate, the low hum of an engine. Noah peeked out the window and froze. Guys," he whispered, his voice trembling. "There's a car. A big black SUV. Creeping down the street." Luna jumped to the window. What kind of people drive an SUV slowly in the snow at midnight? Maya pressed her face against the glass. "I don't know, but it's kind of scary." Noah grabbed the flashlight again, shining it on the dark shape outside. The SUV's headlights flickered over the snow, and inside, he could see men in black coats, their faces shadowed, moving in the back seat. They looked serious. Very serious. Then the knocking began. A hard, rhythmic thump on their front door. "Security," a voice called sharply. "Open the door. This is security." Santa, who had been resting quietly under the blanket, suddenly stiffened. His eyes shot open. His face turned pale. He struggled to sit up but winced in pain. "They're here," he whispered urgently, his voice tight with fear. "If they find me, they'll take me again." Maya's eyes widened. "Take you? Who?" Santa shook his head, wincing. "No time. Hide me." Luna didn't need to be told twice. She grabbed a thick blanket and pulled Santa carefully toward the Christmas tree. "Quick, under the tree. Pretend it's part of the decorations." Noah helped, stacking presents on top of him. "Sure. Santa, don't breathe too loud," he whispered. Maya knelt beside him, holding his hand. "You'll be okay. We've got you." Outside, the knocks grew louder. The SUV had stopped, its engine idling, shadows moving behind the curtains. The triplets froze, hearts pounding. The door creaked slightly. A boot pressed against the wooden threshold. "Open up," the voice demanded again. "Security. We just want to check." Luna held her breath, pressing a gift box tightly over Santa. The men peered around the house briefly. One walked slowly past the living room window. His shadow stretched across the floor, making the tree look taller, darker, and somehow alive. One ornament slipped off a low branch, falling with a tiny clink to the floor. It bounced once. Then silence. Noah's eyes were wide. "Don't move," he whispered. "Don't. Breathe." Santa tried not to cough. Luna pressed her finger to her lips. The men lingered a moment longer, staring at the tree, tilting their heads, as if they sensed something was off. But the lights of the tree blinked happily, masking the hidden figure beneath. Finally, after what felt like forever, they stepped back, muttering to each other. The SUV's engine started again. The tires crunched over the snow as they drove slowly away, leaving only silence and the faint smell of fear. The triplets exhaled together. Maya's hands were shaking. Are they gone? Santa peeked out from under the blanket, his eyes still wide. For now, he whispered, voice trembling. But we can't stay like this for long. They'll come back. Luna, trying to lighten the mood but failing to hide her own fear, muttered, next time, we are decorating him with tinsel. They'll never see a bleeding Santa under the tree. Noah smirked despite the tension. And maybe a red nose. Classic disguise. Santa let out a weak chuckle, though it was mixed with pain. You kids, you're braver than anyone I've ever known. The snow fell softly outside, silent witnesses to a Christmas Eve that none of them would ever forget. The living room was quiet now, too quiet, except for the soft hum of the Christmas tree lights. Snow tapped gently against the window, a calm rhythm that seemed almost out of place after the chaos of the SUV and the knocks on the door. Santa, still weak, pale, and bandaged, sat carefully by the tree, leaning on the soft rug for support. His breathing was slow, uneven, but steady. The triplets sat around him, unsure what to say. They didn't move, didn't speak. Even Luna, usually full of jokes, was quiet. The only sound was the soft creak of the tree and Santa's shallow breaths. Finally, he cleared his throat. His voice was hoarse, almost a whisper. I need to tell you something, he said slowly, each word deliberate. I wasn't always like this. 2 years ago, I was taken. They wanted something. Money, power, something that didn't belong to them. And they thought I could help them. Maya's eyes widened. Taken. Who? What? Santa shook his head, wincing. I can't explain everything. But I escaped. And I had to hide. I needed to stay hidden. So I dressed like this, like Santa. Nobody would look for a Santa walking through the snow. I hoped to be safe. Noah frowned. You escaped and just wandered into our neighborhood. Santa nodded weakly. I didn't know where else to go. I was bleeding, cold, and then I found you. Maya felt her heart squeeze in her chest. You stayed, all this time, alone. Santa's lips trembled. Yes, alone, hiding, protecting you. He looked down at his hands. I couldn't let them find me, not again. The room was silent for a moment. The weight of his words sank in. Luna shifted, suddenly aware of how small the space felt with such a huge secret hidden inside it. Then, softly, almost without realizing it, Santa began to hum. It was quiet, a gentle melody, shaky and low. The notes drifted into the room like snowflakes, familiar and warm. Maya froze. Her eyes widened, staring at him. Wait, she whispered. That's the lullaby our dad used to sing. Luna blinked. Maya, you're right. Noah leaned forward. That's the song he always sang when we were little. Only Dad knew it. Nobody else. Santa's humming faltered. He stopped abruptly, his eyes widening. He looked at the children, confusion and fear flickering across his face. I didn't mean to. Maya's voice shook. Dad. Santa's hands trembled as he pulled the Santa hat down over his eyes for a moment, trying to steady his breathing. No. I mean, it's complicated, he said, voice cracking. I didn't want to scare you. Luna took a step closer, her boldness returning, softened by curiosity. But you sang the lullaby. That's our song. Nobody else knows it. Dad, is that you? Santa's eyes met theirs, filled with fear, sorrow, and something he had buried for too long. He swallowed hard, his lips trembling. Yes, it's me. The words hung in the air, fragile and heavy, like glass. The triplets didn't speak. They just stared, hearts racing, eyes wide, unsure if what they were hearing was real. The soft hum of the tree and the snow outside felt like it was holding its breath too, waiting for them to understand. Maya's voice finally broke the silence, trembling. I knew it. I just knew it. Noah whispered, barely audible. All this time, you were right here, hiding as Santa. Santa nodded slowly, tears forming at the corners of his eyes. I had to protect you, even if it meant being invisible, even if it meant you didn't know who I was. The children didn't move. They just stared, the enormity of the secret settling in. Their father, missing for 2 years, was sitting right there, humming their lullaby, exhausted, scared, but alive. And for the first time in years, the snow outside didn't feel cold. It felt like it was wrapping them in a quiet, miraculous warmth. The room was still, heavy with the soft glow of the Christmas tree lights. Snow fell gently against the window, each flake landing silently, as if the world outside was holding its breath. Santa, still weak, was resting on the rug, the children hovering around him, anxious but determined. "Okay," Luna said, kneeling beside him. "We need to see where the band-aid goes next." She carefully lifted the edge of the torn sleeve, trying not to hurt him. "Hold still," she murmured. Santa flinched slightly, but stayed quiet. As Luna adjusted the bandage, her eyes caught something. A small, crescent-shaped mark on his forearm, pale but unmistakable against the faded red of his suit. She froze, staring at it. "No, no, it can't be," she whispered, her voice trembling. She nudged Maya and Noah. Look at this mark." Maya leaned in closer. That looks familiar," Noah squinted. "Wait, that shape. Isn't that like..." Luna's breath caught. "It's the same as Dad's birthmark," she said, voice barely audible. "Exactly the same shape and everything." Santa, noticing their staring, let out a nervous laugh, weak and shaky. "Hey, lots of people have birthmarks," he said, trying to sound casual. "Really? Just a coincidence?" Maya's hands trembled. "No, it's not a coincidence." Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. Noah pulled something from his pocket. "Wait," he said, digging through the small stack of things he had brought from their dad's old room. He carefully unfolded an old photograph. The picture was slightly faded, corners bent, but it showed their father, smiling warmly, sleeves rolled up, and on his forearm was the same crescent-shaped birthmark. He held the photo up next to Santa's arm. Side by side, the marks were identical. Luna gasped. "It's him," she whispered. Her hand shook as she reached toward the mark again. "It has to be him." Santa swallowed hard. His eyes darted between the three of them. I. He tried to laugh, but it came out as a strangled cough. "I told you, birthmarks, lots of people. It's..." Maya pressed a hand to her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. No, it's not. Dad, it's really you." Noah's eyes filled with tears. "We've been looking for you, for 2 years." His voice broke, and he dropped the photo onto the rug. The room went silent. Even the Christmas lights seemed to dim for a moment, as if they too were holding their breath. Snow continued to fall outside, muffling the world, leaving only the quiet, intense moment inside. Santa lowered his gaze, tears forming at the corners of his eyes. I wanted to come back," he whispered. "I wanted to, but I couldn't. Not until I knew you were safe." Luna, trembling, reached out and took his hand. "We've missed you, so much." Noah knelt beside them, looking at the birthmark again, then at Santa's face. "It's really you," he said softly, tears streaming down his cheeks. Maya leaned against him, letting out a long shuddering breath. "Our dad really is here." For a long moment, no one spoke. Only the soft hum of the tree lights, the falling snow, and the quiet, overwhelming realization filled the room. The man they had longed for, the man who had been missing for 2 years, was finally sitting before them, and the impossible truth had finally revealed itself. The room was quiet, but heavy, filled with the smell of pine and the faint, lingering scent of cocoa. Outside, the snow continued to fall softly, as if the world itself was holding its breath, waiting for the words that had been trapped inside for 2 long years. The triplets clung to their father, who was still wrapped in blankets, his face pale and drawn but finally free from the weight of silence. He took a deep breath, his hands trembling as he held theirs. I owe you the truth," he began, his voice low and hoarse. "I can't hide it anymore. You deserve to know everything." Noah tilted his head, eyes wide. "Everything, Dad." "Yes," he whispered. "It all started 2 years ago. The night I disappeared. I was kidnapped." Maya's hands went to her mouth. "Kidnapped? But why? Who?" Santa's voice cracked. They wanted money. Your family. They knew we had something they wanted. I didn't know what would happen. They threatened everything I loved. They threatened you." Luna's boldness faltered. She shook her head. They threatened us. Her voice was sharp but small, as if saying it aloud made it real. But why didn't you come back? He swallowed hard, looking down at his hands. I tried so many times. But every time I thought I could, I realized I couldn't risk it. I couldn't risk you being hurt. If they knew I was near, if they thought they could find me, you could have been in danger. So I stayed hidden. Maya's eyes filled with tears. You stayed away to keep her safe. Yes, he said, voice breaking. Every day. I thought of you. Every Christmas, every birthday, every morning, I woke hoping to see you safe. I never stopped loving you. I never stopped thinking about you. Noah's hand shook as he held his father's. But we missed you. We cried every night. We waited for you to come back. Santa's eyes glistened with tears. I know, and I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to hurt like that. I would have done anything to hold you, to tell you I was alive. But I had to be careful. I had to make sure you were safe first. That's why I wore this disguise. To blend in. To protect you from them, even if it meant hiding from my own family. Luna's voice broke as she whispered, all this time, you were right here, hiding, and we didn't even know. Yes, he said softly, tears rolling down his cheeks. I stayed away because I loved you. Because I had to. But now I can finally be with you. Finally, I can hold you without fear. Finally, I can tell you how much I've missed you, how much I've needed you. Maya collapsed into his chest, sobbing, her small hands clutching his coat. We missed you too, so much. Noah leaned against him as well, whispering, please, don't leave us again. Santa wrapped his arms around all three of them, holding them tightly. Never again. I promise. I will never leave you again. You are my life, my heart, everything I have. The room was quiet now except for the soft sound of their tears, mingled with his. The snow outside fell gently, the soft glow of the Christmas tree reflected in their tear-streaked faces. For the first time in 2 years, the fear, the danger, and the separation melted away, leaving only warmth, love, and the fragile, perfect safety of being together again. The kitchen door creaked open slowly, letting in the soft glow of the living room lights. Their mother stepped inside, a tray of plates in her hands, the smell of freshly baked cookies filling the air. She froze the moment she saw him, Santa, lying there, frail, pale, and unmistakably alive. The tray slipped from her hands, plates and crumbs scattering across the floor with a soft clatter. Her knees gave way, and she fell to the ground beside him, hands trembling as she reached out. She pressed her face to his shoulder, and for the first time in 2 years, the sound of her long, broken sobs filled the room. The triplets moved closer, unsure how to speak, unsure what to do. Maya knelt beside her, still holding her father's hand, her own tears streaming freely. Mom, she whispered, but the sound was swallowed by the sobs that shook her mother's body. Luna crouched, gripping her father's other hand. Mom, he's really here, she said softly. We found him. Noah stepped forward, voice shaking. We helped him. He was hurt. But he's safe now. Their mother didn't respond with words. She couldn't. All she could do was hold him, tremble against him, and cry. Her tears fell on his bandaged shoulders, her fingers clutching the sleeves of his coat as though she could never let go again. The room was silent except for the quiet crackle of the Christmas tree lights and the sound of the snow falling outside. Time seemed to pause, holding its breath as mother and father, lost for so long, embraced for the first time in years. The triplets knelt beside them, unsure how to help, unsure whether to speak or stay silent. They wanted to explain how they had found him, to tell her the story, but the words stuck in their throats. All they could do was watch, hearts pounding, as the two most important people in their lives held each other tightly, letting the tears and the years of fear, worry, and pain flow out. Maya whispered, barely audible, Mom, Dad's back. Luna shook her head, trying to find her voice. We didn't know if he was alive, but we helped him. We made him safe. Their mother's sobs continued, but her hands reached out to touch the triplets' faces, holding them close, drawing them into the circle of warmth and relief. Noah leaned into her side, letting the quiet cry of the family wash over him, the years of absence and fear melting away in the safety of this embrace. No words were needed. Just sobbing. Just the sound of hearts reconnecting, of love finally spilling freely after 2 long, empty years. Outside, snow fell silently, as if the world itself had stopped to witness this moment of reunion, the fragile miracle of a family finally whole again. Hours had passed since the first terrifying visit, and the house had finally begun to feel like a safe haven. Santa, actually their father, was sitting wrapped in blankets, surrounded by the children and their mother, Mary, who still held him tightly, her face streaked with tears. The soft glow of the Christmas tree lights made everything feel almost magical again, but outside, the snow continued to fall, cold and quiet. Then, a low rumble shattered the calm. Noah pressed his face to the window. "Mom, it's back. The black SUV." Luna jumped up, eyes wide. "I thought they left." Maya's hand shook as she clutched the blanket around their father. They found us again." Mary went still, her jaw tightening. "No, not today." She lifted her phone from the counter. "I'm calling the police." The SUV stopped in front of their house. The engine idled low, ominous in the snowy night. The men stepped out, tall and serious, their coats dark and heavy. One of them raised a hand and knocked sharply on the front door. "Security! Open up!" the voice called, deep and commanding. Mary didn't move from the kitchen. Her fingers flew across the phone, calling the police and giving them the details in quick, calm sentences. "Yes, officer, black SUV, 3 men, possibly dangerous. Please hurry." She hung up, her lips pressed in a determined line. Then, a mischievous smile flickered across her face. "All right, kids," she whispered, crouching down beside them. "We are going to have a little fun before the police get here." The triplets exchanged confused glances. "What do you mean?" Maya asked. "We are going to keep them busy," Mary said. "Pretend we are looking for something, anything, to slow them down." Luna's eyes lit up. "Like a prank." "Exactly," Mary whispered. The next knock came louder, more insistent. Mary opened the door slightly, peeking out, smiling sweetly. "Oh, hold on," she said. "We are looking for the key. It's just somewhere in the house. Maybe under the rug. Or in the vase. I'm not sure." The men exchanged glances, clearly frustrated, but they didn't leave. Noah peeked from behind Mary, whispering, "What do we do now?" Mary winked at him. "Follow my lead." She stepped aside, and the triplets dashed around, pretending to search. Luna lifted throw pillows dramatically. "I don't see it here," she called. Maya crawled along the floor, lifting up a small mat. "Nothing. Maybe it fell somewhere else." Noah pretended to open drawers with exaggerated care. "I think it might be behind the fridge. Yes, I see something. Wait, no, never mind." The men grew more agitated, knocking harder and shouting. "Open the door." "We are not leaving until," Mary smiled, shaking her head. We are trying. It's just tricky tonight. The keys are hiding." The children stifled giggles as the men pounded, their frustration growing by the second. Every time they peeked under something, Mary would realize the key wasn't there, and move on, sending the men on a wild goose chase around the entrance, peering inside and outside. Finally, a distant siren sounded, growing closer. The men froze, eyes widening. "They're coming," Mary whispered to the children. "Hold your spots." The SUV engine roared again as the men quickly climbed back inside, glancing around nervously, but the police cars arrived in time, lights flashing red and blue in the snow. Officers jumped out, surrounding the SUV before it could move. Mary let out a long, shaky breath, her shoulders sagging. "You kids, that was amazing," she said, smiling through tears. "We just kept them busy. They never expected a little Christmas mischief." Luna grinned. "I told you we could handle it." Noah laughed softly. "Yeah, Santa, we mean Dad, was safe, and we got to prank some bad guys. Best Christmas ever." Maya leaned against her mother, finally relaxing. "I think we are really safe now." Mary nodded, hugging all 3 children tightly. Outside, the snow continued to fall, quiet and peaceful. Inside, the house was warm, safe, and filled with laughter and relief. Christmas, after all, had a way of bringing miracles, even when mixed with a little bit of mischief. Mary tightened her grip on the children. "Stay inside. Let them handle it now." Outside, The black SUV idled nervously at the curb, its engine still humming. The three men inside shifted, looking uneasy. The snow made it hard to move quickly, and the flashing lights of the approaching police cars reflected off the icy street, casting dancing reds and blues across the snow. A voice crackled from a megaphone. "This is the police. Step out of the vehicle and keep your hands visible." The men glanced at each other, panic growing in their eyes. We can't go back," one muttered, voice shaking. Another officer shouted, "Sir, step out slowly. You're surrounded." Mary peeked through the window, biting her lip to stop herself from laughing nervously. The triplets watched in or as the officers surrounded the SUV, moving quickly and decisively, blocking every possible escape route. Noah whispered, "This is like an action movie." The SUV's doors were forced open, and the men were pulled out one by one, hands cuffed behind their backs. They shouted and protested, but the officers didn't budge. Snow fell on their coats as they were led to the patrol cars. Mary finally stepped outside, cautiously, as the officers ensured the men were securely in custody. One of the officers, a tall man with a kind face, turned to her and raised an eyebrow. You and your kids were brave tonight. Very brave." Luna smirked. "We were just trying to save Christmas." The officer chuckled, shaking his head. "Well, I'll make sure it's in the report. Santa rescue by 3 courageous kids. That's a first for me." Maya giggled through her tears. "Santa rescue. That's actually funny." Noah leaned against Mary, still wide-eyed. "We really did it. We saved him." The officer smiled warmly. "Yes, you did. And thanks to quick thinking, calling us and your little pranks, you made it easier. Those guys won't bother you again." Santa, sitting wrapped in blankets nearby, gave a small, tired laugh. "I never thought I'd be rescued by my own kids, while dressed as Santa. This will make a story someday." Mary smiled, wiping a tear from her cheek. "It's a story for tonight, that's for sure." The triplets watched as the police cars drove away, the black SUV now empty of its terrifying cargo. Snow fell softly around the quiet neighborhood, the lights of the patrol cars fading into the distance. Noah grinned. "We actually did it. Best Christmas ever." Luna rolled her eyes, laughing softly. "Yeah, and we are never letting Dad leave us again." Maya hugged Santa tightly, whispering, "We are never letting anything bad happen again." Santa held them all close, feeling the warmth and safety of his family at last. And outside, the snow continued to fall gently, peaceful, and quiet, as if the world itself was finally letting them breathe. Christmas, after all, had been saved, not by magic alone, but by courage, love, and a little bit of clever mischief. The morning sunlight filtered softly through the curtains, casting warm golden stripes across the living room. The snow outside had stopped falling, leaving the world sparkling and quiet. Inside, the house was calm, peaceful, and full of a kind of happiness that had been missing for 2 long years. Their father, finally out of the bandages that had been carefully wrapped around him, was sitting in the living room in a pair of worn, soft pajamas. He smiled gently, still tired, but alive and whole. The room smelled faintly of cocoa and pine, and the Christmas tree twinkled merrily in the corner. The triplets were buzzing with excitement, practically vibrating as they circled around him. "Can we open presents now?" Noah asked, his voice full of energy. "Absolutely," their father said, laughing softly. "But first, I have a little surprise for you." Luna and Maya exchanged curious glances. "Surprise?" Luna asked. "Yes," he said, patting the small pile of wrapped gifts beside him. "I saved these for you, even while I was away. They're little reminders that I was thinking about you the whole time." The triplets' eyes widened as they eagerly grabbed the gifts. Noah tore his paper first, revealing a small carved wooden airplane, worn at the edges but smooth and perfect in its own way. "Wow, Dad, you made this." He smiled. "I made it when I could. It reminded me of flying you all around when you were little. Remember how we used to pretend to take off?" Noah laughed, holding it up. "Yeah, we were pilots. Santa's broke, but Dad's rich," he joked, earning a soft chuckle from everyone. Luna tore her paper next, revealing a tiny sketchbook filled with little drawings of places they had visited together and small doodles of their adventures. "Dad, these are amazing," she said, flipping through the pages. You thought of us the whole time." I did, he said, his eyes glistening. Even when I was scared or hurt, I thought about all the things we would do together when I came back. This is my way of saying, I never stopped loving you. Maya opened her gift last, finding a small music box, carved carefully with delicate stars and moons. She wound it, and a soft lullaby began to play, the very one their father had sung to them when they were little. She looked up at him, tears welling. You saved this for me. He nodded, smiling through his own tears. Every note, every little thing. I wanted you to know I was with you, even when I couldn't be here. The triplets each threw themselves into his arms, one after another, clinging tightly. Noah laughed between his hugs. Okay. I admit it. This is better than getting toys from Santa. Luna giggled, wiping her eyes. Yeah, way better. And no fake beard. Maya rested her head against his chest, listening to his steady heartbeat. I'm so glad you're home. I'm glad too, he whispered, hugging them all again. This is the best gift I could ever get. Being here with you. Being safe. Being together. The room was filled with laughter, gentle teasing, and soft cries of happiness. Outside, the snow glistened under the morning sun, the neighborhood calm and bright. Inside, the little family sat together, opening gifts, sharing laughter and stories, and slowly, finally, healing. Christmas had come, not with magic alone, but with love, courage, and the miraculous return of the heart of their family. And in the warmth of the living room, with the twinkling tree and the soft morning light, everything felt right again. The house had finally grown quiet. The soft hum of the Christmas tree lights faded as the triplets drifted into sleep, their small breaths steady and calm. Snow lay thick and sparkling outside, reflecting the soft glow of the streetlights. Inside, the living room was peaceful, the chaos of the past 2 days replaced by warmth, love, and the gentle relief of safety. Peter, still wearing his pajamas and wrapped loosely in a blanket, helped Mary guide herself to their bedroom. The soft carpet muffled their steps, and for the first time in years, the house felt calm enough for them to just breathe. Once inside, they sat side by side on the edge of the bed. Mary's hands rested in her lap, fingers twisting nervously. Peter, she began, her voice soft. I don't even know where to start. He turned to her, his eyes gentle, tired, but full of regret. I know. I've been gone for so long. I can't even imagine how hard it's been for you. Mary sighed, her shoulders slumping slightly. It's been lonely, scary. Every Christmas, every birthday, every little moment, I wondered if I'd ever see you again. I had to be strong for the kids, but inside, it was just empty. I couldn't tell anyone. I couldn't even cry sometimes because I had to keep it together for them. Peter's hand reached for hers, fingers brushing gently. Mary, I am so sorry. I should have been there. I should have done something to be with you, to protect you and the kids. I failed you. Her eyes softened, tears brimming, but she shook her head. No, you didn't fail. You did what you had to do to keep us safe. I missed you. We all did. Peter pulled her closer, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. She leaned into him, resting her head against his chest. I can't believe we are finally here, she whispered. He kissed the top of her head gently. Me neither. The room was silent except for the soft sound of their synchronized breaths. They held each other, letting the warmth flow between them, feeling each heartbeat, each sigh, bridging the long years of absence with touch and closeness. Mary tilted her head up slightly, looking into his eyes. I never stop hoping, she said softly, even when it was the hardest. I never stopped loving you, he replied, his voice breaking slightly. Every second away, every moment hiding. I thought of you. I thought of all of you. They shifted slightly, lying down side by side on the bed. His arm remained around her, pulling her closer until their bodies were pressed together, warming each other against the lingering chill of the winter night. Mary rested her hand on his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart beneath her fingers. Peter's hand traced the curve of her back gently, a silent promise, a tether of love and protection. I missed this, she whispered. So did I, he replied softly, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. They lay there, wrapped in each other's arms, letting the warmth of their bodies replace the cold that had lingered in their hearts for too long. Words faded, replaced by soft breathing and the gentle rhythm of closeness. Outside, the snow continued to blanket the world in quiet white. Inside, they finally slept, hearts aligned, bodies close, and a sense of peace settling over them that had been missing for far too long. The morning sun streamed gently through the kitchen windows, casting warm light over the table set for breakfast. The smell of pancakes and cocoa lingered in the air, mixing with the faint scent of pine from the Christmas tree still twinkling in the living room. For the first time in 2 years, the family gathered together, fully present, ready to share a meal. Peter sat at the head of the table, his eyes sweeping across the room as he took in the sight of Mary and the triplets. Luna and Maya were chattering excitedly about gifts and stories from the previous night, while Noah was already halfway through his stack of pancakes, syrup dripping onto the plate and occasionally onto his fingers. Peter's lips pressed into a gentle line. "Noah," he said calmly but firmly, "use your fork. And wipe your hands before touching anything else." Noah froze mid-bite, blinking up at him. Okay, Dad," he said sheepishly, quickly grabbing his napkin. Luna was slurping her cocoa loudly, making a small mess on the edge of her plate. Peter sighed softly, shaking his head. "Luna, no slurping like that. Take small sips. We eat politely at the table." Maya giggled but obeyed immediately, lowering her mug and sipping carefully. Peter's voice was calm but firm, the tone carrying a quiet authority that the children had missed for so long. "Remember, elbows off the table," he added, watching as Luna's arm rested too heavily against the edge. The girl shifted immediately, looking slightly embarrassed, but smiling. Mary watched, her eyes softening. "It's nice," she whispered. "You're really here, fully here." Peter smiled gently, reaching across to adjust a napkin for Maya. "I'm here. I've missed so much. I want to help, and guide, and be the father you need." The children's chatter settled a little as Peter continued, giving gentle guidance and small corrections with kindness, his presence strong but warm. He reminded Noah to chew carefully, showed Luna how to pour syrup without spilling, and encouraged Maya to pass the plates politely instead of grabbing. Slowly, the table became a place of laughter and learning, each correction mingling with warmth rather than tension. After breakfast, Peter stood, stretching slightly. "All right, team," he said with a grin. "Let's get my room in order. I need a proper workspace again." The triplets perked up immediately, excited to help. They carried small boxes, stacks of papers, and decorations to the corner, working together to rearrange the furniture under Peter's watchful eyes. He directed them patiently, showing them where things should go, teaching them how to fold blankets properly and where to place books and tools. Noah giggled as he stacked some books too high, and Peter shook his head gently, correcting him with a soft laugh. "Careful, or the tower falls. Steady hands, young man." Luna adjusted the desk chair as Peter pulled out his laptop and organized his work papers. "Perfect," he said, smiling. "Now I can get back to work, but I'll always make time for you three." Maya placed a small trinket on his shelf, and Peter leaned down to press a kiss to her forehead. "Thank you. Every little thing counts, just like all of you." By the time the room was tidy, Peter's fatherly presence was undeniable. The triplets followed his guidance, learning, laughing, and feeling secure under his calm authority. Breakfast, corrections, and room arrangements weren't just chores. They were moments of connection, rebuilding trust and routine, reminding them all that life could continue again with their father truly home. For the first time in years, the house hummed with warmth, laughter, and structure, and Peter felt the quiet joy of being a father fully present, guiding, correcting, and loving his children while Mary watched, heart full. A few weeks after the miraculous reunion, life had settled into a gentle rhythm. The house was filled with warmth, laughter, and the comforting sounds of the triplets playing and learning with Peter, who had fully embraced his role as a father again. Mary had thrown herself into the small joys of family life, baking, tidying, and laughing alongside the children. But one morning, she woke feeling unusually weak. She groaned softly from the bedroom. "Peter, I don't feel so good." Peter, already dressed in pajamas and slippers, rushed to her side. "Mary, what's wrong?" I've been dizzy and nauseous," she whispered, clutching her stomach. "I can't keep anything down." The triplets, who had been playing in the living room, froze and exchanged worried glances. Noah ran to her side first. "Mom, are you okay?" I don't know, sweetie," she said, trying to smile but failing. Her lips were pale, and sweat dotted her forehead. Peter guided her gently to the couch, helping her sit upright while the children hovered anxiously. Okay, let's take it slow. Drink some water. But over the next few days, Mary continued to vomit and run a high fever. Peter stayed awake through nights of worry, holding her hand and wiping her forehead. The triplets did their best to help, bringing her small sips of water, soft towels, and warm blankets. Luna fussed over her mother constantly. "Mom, you have to rest. You're scaring me." Maya sat beside her mother, holding her hand. "We'll take care of you, Mom. Don't worry." Noah hovered near the kitchen counter, muttering to himself, "I'll make soup, or something, anything." Despite their care, Mary's condition didn't improve. Finally, Peter made the decision. "We are going to the hospital. You need proper care." Mary nodded weakly, allowing Peter to help her into the car while the triplets climbed in after them, whispering words of encouragement. At the hospital, the doctors ran tests, checking her temperature, taking blood samples, and examining her carefully. After what felt like an eternity, one of the doctors smiled warmly. "Congratulations, you're pregnant." Peter blinked in shock, then a smile spread across his face. "Pregnant?" he repeated softly. He turned to Mary, eyes shining. We are going to have a baby." Mary, still weak, laughed softly through her tears. "Yes, I guess we are." The triplets shrieked in excitement, bouncing on the hospital chairs. "A baby!" Noah shouted, "Are we going to have a brother or sister?" "I'm going to have a sister," Luna declared immediately, crossing her arms. "Definitely a girl. I can already tell." "No way. It's a boy," Noah argued, pointing a finger dramatically. "He'll be the best little brother ever." Maya shook her head, laughing through tears. "I think it doesn't matter. We'll just love the baby no matter what. But I hope it's a girl. I want a sister." Peter chuckled softly, watching them argue. "You three are already practicing for when the baby arrives," he said, his arm around Mary, holding her gently. "No matter if it's a boy or a girl, we are all going to make this family even stronger." Mary smiled weakly but lovingly, her hand resting on her stomach. I can't believe it. After everything, after all that's happened, this is another miracle." Luna leaned forward, pressing her small hand against Mary's belly. "Hi, baby. We're your big sisters and brother. You can't get into trouble." Noah followed, tapping the bump gently. "You better be a boy. I already have plans for adventures." Maya giggled, holding both of their hands. "You'll have 3 older siblings to guide you, or boss you around." Peter wrapped his arms around the family, holding them close in the small hospital room. The air was filled with laughter, chatter, and the soft beeps of hospital machines, but mostly it was filled with hope. Hope for the new life inside Mary, and for the future of a family that had weathered storms, danger, and separation, and now was growing, stronger than ever. As they left the hospital, Mary leaning gently on Peter, the triplets bounced alongside them, still debating the baby's gender loudly. Peter laughed softly, squeezing Mary's hand. "No matter what, this family just keeps getting better." And in that moment, even through the exhaustion and worry, happiness felt full, tangible, and endless. It was a cold winter night, the wind howling softly outside and snowflakes drifting lazily past the windows. The house was quiet, the triplets fast asleep in their beds after a long day of holiday excitement. Peter and Mary were finally settled in their bedroom, the warmth of the fire filling the room with a gentle glow. Mary had been feeling uneasy all evening, small contractions coming and going, but nothing she could manage. Then, suddenly, the pain hit sharply. Mary gasped and clutched her stomach. "Peter, it's happening. I think it's time." Peter's eyes widened immediately. "Time? Right now." He jumped to his feet, grabbing the blanket. Okay, we can do this. Don't worry, I've got you." Mary groaned, her hands gripping the bedsheets. I can't move. It hurts too much." Peter knelt beside the bed, holding her hand tightly. "It's okay, Mary. You're strong. We'll get through this together." Panicked but composed, he grabbed the phone and called the emergency nurse they had arranged in advance for the home delivery. "Yes, she's in labor, severe contractions. Please hurry." The triplets, stirred by the commotion, peeked into the room, rubbing their eyes. "Mom, are you okay?" Maya asked, voice trembling. I'm okay, sweetie, Mary whispered through clenched teeth, tears of pain running down her cheeks. Just need to breathe. Peter turned to them, his voice calm but firm. Kids, go stay in the living room for now. Grab some blankets. I'll call you when it's time to meet your brother. Noah pouted. But I want to help. You're helping by staying safe, Peter said, kissing his forehead. And soon, you'll get to meet your little brother. You're going to love him. The minutes stretched into hours. Mary's groans and cries filled the house. Peter kneeling beside her the whole time, offering water, wiping her forehead, whispering encouragement, and holding her hand. Breathe, Mary. You're doing amazing. Inhale, exhale, that's it. You're strong. Finally, the nurse arrived, her presence calm and professional. She quickly assessed the situation and began guiding Peter through each step. Peter, support her back, help her breathe with her. You're going to do great. Peter's hands trembled but stayed firm, gently pressing Mary's shoulders, holding her hand, and repeating the nurse's instructions. Breathe with me, Mary, in and out. We are almost there. The triplets had been allowed to peek into the room, staying close but quiet, holding hands with each other and watching in awe. Luna whispered, I can't believe this. Mom's so brave. Maya nodded, tears in her eyes. She's amazing. Dad's helping too. Look at him. Noah, his excitement barely contained, whispered fiercely, I'm going to have a little brother. Finally. Hours passed. Mary's cries filled the house with both pain and anticipation, Peter never leaving her side. He stroked her hair, wiped sweat from her forehead, and whispered, You're incredible. You're almost there. Then, at last, the nurse guided them through the final push. One more, push, she instructed. Peter held Mary's hand tightly, counting with her. Push, Mary, push. A loud, final cry filled the room, cutting through the tension like a miracle. He's here. A healthy baby boy, the nurse announced, holding the tiny bundle up for Peter and Mary to see. Peter's eyes widened with joy. He's perfect, he whispered, tears streaming down his face. He reached for the baby, cradling him carefully in his arms. Our little boy, our miracle. Mary, exhausted but glowing, rested her head against Peter's shoulder, smiling through her tears. He's beautiful. Look at him. Noah jumped up, bouncing with excitement. He's mine. My little brother. He ran to hug his father's leg, then peered at the baby. He's so tiny, but perfect. Luna and Maya leaned closer, their own tears streaming. He's so cute, Luna said softly. I can't believe he's finally here. Peter held Mary close, rocking the baby gently. We did it, he whispered, smiling at both the children and Mary. We are all together, and now we are even more complete. Mary rested her hand on Peter's arm, her eyes tired but full of love. Thank you for being here. For everything. The triplets crowded around, gently reaching out to touch their new baby brother, their laughter and whispers filling the room. Noah laughed. I get to teach him everything. He's officially part of the team. Peter smiled, rocking the baby in one arm and holding Mary's hand with the other. He's ours, and we'll make sure he knows how loved he is. Always. Outside, the snow sparkled under the moonlight, the world quiet and peaceful. Inside, the small house was alive with the miracle of new life, love, and the joy of a family finally whole. The baby boy, wrapped snugly in blankets, let out a tiny yawn, already surrounded by warmth, laughter, and endless love. The living room was bathed in the soft glow of the Christmas tree, the ornaments sparkling faintly in the warm light. Outside, snow had returned, falling quietly and blanketing the neighborhood in white. The house was finally peaceful, the chaos, danger, and fear of the past weeks replaced by something deeper, calm, love, and the quiet magic of family. Peter sat cross-legged on the carpet in front of the tree, the baby boy cradled gently in his arms. Mary rested beside him on the couch, finally able to breathe, her eyes half closed in exhaustion but full of love. The triplets, Luna, Maya, and Noah, sat leaning against him, their heads drooping with sleep, eyelids heavy. Peter glanced down at his little family, a soft smile forming on his lips. You know, he whispered, rocking the baby slightly, I never thought we'd all be here like this, together. All safe, all happy. Maya, her head resting against his shoulder, murmured, It feels Like magic, Dad. Luna yawned, snuggling closer. I just never want this to end. Noah, already half asleep, mumbled, Best Christmas ever. Peter gently laid a finger against the baby's tiny cheek, marveling at the miracle in his arms. And you, little one, you've made our family complete. He smiled down, rocking the baby as the little hands curled around his fingers. You're so small, but already so loved. He began to hum softly at first, then louder, more clearly, singing the familiar lullaby he had once sung for his daughters and son. This time, his voice was strong, steady, full of warmth and reassurance. The soft melody filled the room, mingling with the twinkling lights of the tree, wrapping the house in a gentle cocoon of comfort. One by one, the triplets' eyes drifted closed, their breathing slowing. Their little heads rested fully against their father's chest, soft snores escaping as they surrendered to sleep. Peter's arms held them gently, and he adjusted the baby in his lap, feeding him quietly, humming the lullaby through soft, tired smiles. Mary shifted beside him, her hand resting on Peter's arm. I think we are finally okay, she whispered. Everything we've gone through, it led us here. Peter kissed her temple gently. Yes, we made it. Together. The room was still, except for the soft hum of the lullaby, the quiet snuffling of the sleeping triplets, and the tiny, rhythmic feeding sounds of the baby. For a moment, nothing else existed, just warmth, love, and the miracle of family fully restored. Peter's voice softened to a whisper as he finished the last line of the lullaby. Sleep well, my little ones, my miracle, my family. Outside, the snow shimmered silently under the moonlight, the world calm and quiet. Inside, the house was alive with a different kind of magic, the quiet, enduring miracle of love, healing, and togetherness. On the screen, the closing message appeared softly, as if written in the snow itself. Sometimes miracles don't come from the sky, they collapse bleeding behind your house. The camera lingered on the family, wrapped in blankets and warmth, the soft glow of the Christmas tree reflecting in their peaceful faces. The lullaby hummed into the night, carrying with it a promise that love, courage, and hope could heal even the deepest wounds, and that sometimes the most extraordinary miracles were found in the most unexpected places.